Hello, everybody. Watch a Guy 25 here with another video to do a episode 5. This is going to be episode 5 of Do You Remember This Back in the Day? So, pretty much it's another PlayStation 1 game. I can tell you that. But anyways, let's get right in with it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it. So, yeah. Here it is. Correct. Resident Evil Gobos. Now, does anybody out there remember the PlayStation 1 version of the first Croc? Now, I grew up with this when I was a kid. I mean, literally a kid. I wasn't even a teenager yet. And, yeah, I grew up with it. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, don't mind the case too much. It just had some accidents. So, yeah, here's the back of it. As you can see, here's a little bit about the story and whatnot. A little bit about it. One player, one block, analog compatible, because it came out around that time during the lifespan of the PlayStation 1. Pretty cool game. Says Ubisoft right there, but it's under distributed by Ubisoft. Published by Aeronaut, or how you want to say it. I'll show you right there if you can see it. Aeronaut. And then, if I remember correctly, it's actually developed by 20th Century Fox Interactive Studios, which is right there. If I can zoom in. There you go. Ready for everyone. It's a good one. Here's the disc. This is side of the case, but here's the disc, and here's the advertisement for Rayman, the first one. But, anyways, that's just the back of advertisement. You know, they did that for back of cases for other games. But here's the disc. Not much to it. It might look a little different if this wasn't the greatest hits version, of course. As you can see, it's the greatest hits one. Some of the enemies, as you can see, whatnot, boss fights and whatnot. Some more of the enemies. So yeah, but yeah, so it's actually pretty good, in my opinion. I think it's real good. Anybody that doesn't know about Croc, well, he plays a character named Croc, which is him right there. And these things, I forget what they're called, but you gotta rescue all of them. And you're on a adventure to collect all of these characters right here. And you gotta collect them all on every level. And then there's somewhat like puzzles in the game. You have to like basically solve like puzzles, but they're not really like puzzles, but they're not like puzzles like video game actual puzzles in the game. They're like puzzle in the way of like saying you still gotta figure out certain things that might be tricky or for you or might not be. Um Anyways, you basically play as Quack to go on an adventure to basically save these guys, and they got their own king. There'll be one with a crown. Um, but yeah, and basically save him from this character right here, and from his minions and whatnot, and the ones that gets in the way. The boss fights before him. Now he has a backpack on him. You may not be able to see it. Oh, right there, you can see it. Has a backpack on him. Helps him carry stuff or whatever. Now he's basically like he's basically the hero. Not basically, he is the hero of the Croc series. This happened to be the first one. I'm not really familiar with the second one. And again, I've been playing the first one for a while. That's what I have more nostalgia for this one than I do for the second one. Just because I grew up with it and I'm more familiar of how it works. But the second one I did play a little bit because it's basically about the same, but it's more expensive than the first one. And depending where you get it, depending on what kind of deal can you get and whatnot. Now the first one is also for the Game Boy Color. And I think if I remember correctly, also for the Sega Saturn. Yeah, for the Sega Saturn, PlayStation, Game Boy Color. And I think that's about it. It never came out for the. It never ever came out for the What do you want to call it? I just had it in my head. What's it called? Sega Saturn. Oh, Nintendo 64. It never came up for the Nintendo 64. You can try to research it, and according to Wikipedia and other sites, it's only for PlayStation, Sega Saturn, and Game Boy Color. Never came out for the Nintendo 64, so you won't be able to play this on Nintendo 64. So you're gonna, if you want a home console-wise, one of the more better versions than the Game Boy Color version, then might want to go for the PlayStation or Sega Saturn. But if you're just not collecting video games, I'll go for the PlayStation version because it is a lot cheaper than any vein pretty much for Sega Saturn that's available for Sega Saturn. But yeah, unless you don't care how you spend your money, I guess it's up to you. So it's like whatever. But yeah, so yeah, and you just go on an adventure by saving those guys right there, or whatever they're called, those things. But yeah, and you have a bunch of platforming, a bunch of tail whacking, I guess you would call it, a bunch of stomping and ground stomps and stuff like that. And yeah, this came out around the time when the PlayStation was like almost over with, I guess you could say. And it's a pretty good classic hit. Croc Legend of the Gumbos. Gobos. How you want to say it? Legend of the Gobos. Anyways, like I said, as you can see, it's the greatest hits version. It was affordable, and you already can tell it's complete. But yeah, now one more thing to mention about this is that it never ever got re-released, no remake or nothing. It's just been released on a few platforms, and then that's it. It might be also for PC. I'm not too sure, but I don't think so. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I do know, obviously, it's for the PlayStation, right there. And it's for the Sega Saturn, I know that. And it's for the Game Boy Color. Never came out for Nintendo 64. I don't know why. It's a third-party game. You'd think they could have done it, but I guess not. But anyways, and one very last thing about the game is that if somebody messes up a remake of this game in the future, one thing for sure is that the backpack is small because he's small, like a baby crocodile, because Croc is his name, get it, crocodile, but they just call him Croc, hence the title Croc. And it's always like a darkish, it's always like a brightish kind of like brown, and no one helps him out. Nothing helps him out except for maybe these guys, maybe, but they don't really have much help. There's no actual help, if you get what I'm trying to say. There's no actual companions, nothing like that. So yeah, he's basically on his own, pretty much. So yeah. Otherwise than that, if you remember this back in the day, let me down below. And if I can show you without it being blurry. Let's see, 97. And it says Analog Control Compatible. It came out in 97, but the greatest hits must be saying that, because that would mean that the greatest hits version must have came out in 99. But it's originally a 97 game. So yeah. Anyways, but yeah. So, real good game. I mean, it was pretty good. I had a lot of great memories of it. It was just wonderful. It still is wonderful to me. So yeah. Anyways, that's all for now. And I catch you all later. See ya.